guys! I've been thinking about the topic of dated versus undated planners for a while, and I wanted to make a video to share my thoughts on it with you. So first, a little bit of history. I have always used dated planners since I first started using planners about 20 years ago. My planner was always dated. For a long time I only had one planner, and it would never have occurred to me to use an undated planner. I think for me, part of the whole point of a planner, a big part of the point of having a planner, was having dates and being able to forward plan easily and not having to think about writing in the dates, which would just never even have occurred to me. And as I have continued in my planner adventures, that has remained the case. I don't know how I would be able to function without having all of the different layouts predated in my main planner. So that's my Hobonichi Cousin, which is my work planner, and my Hobonichi Weeks, which is my personal planner. So it would just have been unthinkable for me not to have dates for several reasons. One reason is simply that I don't like writing in dates myself. So I know if you buy an undated planner, you can then date it yourself so that it is effectively dated, but I like having everything look professionally printed, and I don't like to worry about making a mistake. I also wouldn't like to take the time to write in a whole year's worth of dates myself, especially on different layouts. And to me, it's much more worthwhile. It's worth the price of buying a planner that is pre-printed and waiting until I can start using it. Because I use the same one every year, so I always use a Cousin for work and I always use a Weeks for a personal planner. And you know, I know that I'm going to be using it the next year, so I buy it and then I just start using it when it kicks in. And I wouldn't be able to imagine any other way, because the thought of having to date my everyday hard-working planner is just horrifying to contemplate, and I wouldn't want to do that. I also like the ease of being able to forward plan, you know, without thinking about it, just knowing that the dates are all there, laid out. And I like being able to, like I said, have the overview of the month and the year and just have everything all set up. So for the heart of my planning system, I am still totally a dated planner all the way. I would never be able to give up having dated planners. But I have started to appreciate the delights of undated planners as well, which is something that I never would have expected when I first joined the planner community and I started seeing videos of people with undated planners. At that time, I just thought that was baffling to me. I didn't understand why anyone would ever want to use an undated planner, because it, to me, felt like it went against the whole point of having a planner. But as time has gone on, I have started to see the benefits of undated planners. So I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about how I use undated planners now and what I think about them. So the first big draw to me of an undated planner is for a daily planner. So I've been using a daily planner probably for about the last 2 years, and I really, really like having a daily planner, not for everyday use, but for days when I'm at home and I have a lot of different types of tasks to do. So let me just show you, for example, this is a day when I found it really convenient to have a daily planner. So it was a Sunday, and I'm at home on Sundays, but I work from home. And on days when I'm at home, sometimes I feel like there are a lot of different types of tasks that are just swirling around in my head, and they're everything from the most basic mundane things like make tea and eat breakfast and put on the laundry, to work tasks, and also other household things that I notice when I'm at home and want to take care of as well. And even though my work planner and my personal planner really generally provide enough space for all of my future planning and to-do lists, sometimes I just like to have one big list where I can see everything in order and just tick it off as I go along. For any detailed work planning, I will put it in my work planner. And my personal planner is generally for things that don't repeat themselves, so one-off to-dos that I need to do on a particular day, or one-offs that I need to do sometime during the week. But it's a different thing just having a big list of everything that needs to be done in the day, if you see what I mean. So often for the work part, I won't put in all the details because the details are in my work planner. I just say emails and then other work tasks, and then I know that's what I'm going to be working on for the next while, and then I can, go on to the next non-work related thing. So this is something that I quite enjoy having, but I don't need it every day because some days I'm out all day. When I'm at university, I just use this planner. Obviously, I'm not going to take this in with me. And I can use the daily pages in here if I have a detailed to-do list that's all work-related. Likewise, if it's a day off, so Saturdays are my day off, then I don't need this planner because I don't have so many intensive to-dos. And then the personal planner is enough. So this planner is something that I like to have. I like it to be available, but I don't need it every day. So what happens when I am using a dated planner, like this one, this is a 2018 daily dated planner, I end up with lots of blank pages, which, as you know, is frustrating to us planner addicts. So obviously I could go back later and use these days for something else, but once I've dedicated a planner to a particular use, I don't like to go back and use the blank pages for something else. Theoretically, I could use them for scrap paper or random note-taking or something, but I would prefer to have a whole book that is dedicated to one particular topic, which is where the Undated planner comes in. So this is an Undated Inkwell Press daily planner, and I have been using this as a daily planner for the past few months as well. I then switched to the Moleskine because I already had it and I didn't want to neglect it and I loved it too much to give it away, so I decided I'll just use these and vary them. With this one, obviously, varying and sometimes using it, sometimes not using it means more blank pages, but since there already are going to be blank pages in this anyway, it's just a matter of degree. It's not really a deal breaker. Whereas this one, because it's undated, there's absolutely no guilt, there's no anxiety. I don't need to worry about leaving it blank and coming back and finding a month's worth of wasted pages, say. So you can see here the last date I used this was the 7th of January. It's now the 4th of February. But when I come back to use this next time, it will be seamless. And I really, really love that. I think that the daily planner is just the perfect candidate to be undated, because if this were dated, I would already have lost a whole bunch of pages, or I would have felt compelled to use it every day, which I don't necessarily need or want. So I think that Tanya from Inkwell Press is really a genius in that she has totally tapped in to the important concept of the daily planner and what people need a daily planner for and why they might not need one every day. And so she's designed this in a way that you probably will be able to use this for an entire year, because you probably won't be using it every day. And if you do use it every day, you can just buy another one and no harm done, because it won't last for a whole year if you use it every day. And if you use it less than that and you end up with blank pages, then you can use it the next year. So this says 2018 on the front, which used to bug me at first because I felt like it was keeping it from being totally free and undated. But now I actually think that's fine. It's a little souvenir of the year when I first started using it, but there's no reason that I couldn't keep using it in 2019. So I think this is a really good use for an undated planner, is a daily, because most of us don't need a daily planner every day, and it just makes much more sense for it to be undated. Another reason that it's fine for, or preferable for a daily planner to be undated, is that generally with a daily planner you're not using them for forward planning. So I mentioned before that I really like having a dated planner because I like being able to forward plan. Well, the thing is, for most of us, with a daily planner, you use it as a supplement to your core weekly planner, right? So if you've got all your forward planning in your weekly planner, then you don't need to worry about putting it in here. And this is another reason why I love the Inkwell Press Daily Planner so much, is because I think that Tanya really understood that as well. The point is that this is a supplementary planner. You don't need to put everything for future dates in here. You just need it on a day-by-day basis. And so I sound like I'm advertising for the Inkwell Press Daily, but I really do love it because it's been designed perfectly with that in mind. So that's another issue, is that you don't need the forward planning, and therefore it's not a problem if you don't have dates, because you're going to be using it in conjunction with another planner. Another area that I think undated planners are really good is for things that I do sporadically and then give up and may come back to again. And a classic example of that is meal planning. So at the beginning of the year, when I did my January planner lineup, I mentioned that I was meal planning again, which was very exciting because I have had a very checkered history with meal planning and have never been able to stick to it. But when I do it, it always makes life run smoother. So I started using this Undated Big Happy Planner for meal planning because I thought, realistically, I'm probably not going to keep this up, and I don't want to ruin a dated planner that then has 3 weeks worth of meal planning in it and is then blank, because, as I mentioned, that makes me uncomfortable starting to use it for a different purpose later on. And it would probably end up in my planner graveyard, which is a very sad fate. So I used this for a couple of weeks and it was great. It worked really well. And then I think when I started back to term time, it just got too busy and I just abandoned it, as I usually do with meal planning. But it's great because being undated, I don't need to worry about it. If and when I decide to come back to meal planning, I can just pick up where I left off and you won't be able to tell that I wasn't using it for a few weeks or months. An added bonus with this planner, of course, is being a happy planner. I can actually tear out the pages that I use if I decide that I want to use this planner for something else in future. And so that gets around my desire to use the same planner only for one thing. So in this case, having an undated planner has been a real benefit because, again, it means that I won't feel like I've wasted the planner. I like having the days of the week labeled because for meal planning that is convenient, but because, again, meal planning is not something that I do far in advance. I would only usually do it a day in advance, or at the most a couple of days in advance. I don't need to know what the dates are because I know what day of the week it is, and that's really all that matters, right? Because it's not something that I'm forward planning. Even if I was planning ahead for the whole week, it still wouldn't matter because I would know, what day of the week it was, and I would just plan for that week, and it wouldn't matter if it's the 16th or the 21st or whatever it is, because, again, this is not my main planner where I need to be able to double check dates for appointments and forward plan, etc. So I think meal planning is another, for me anyways, a really nice type of planner to have undated because it allows for me to stop and start, and I really don't need the dates. So if you have a completely undated planner, say like this one, like the daily planner where it doesn't tell you the day of the week, for me that wouldn't be as good for a meal planner as the kind where you have a weekly spread and it labels the days of the week. So this is like almost half dated. It's not actually dated, but it gives you the days of the week, so you have something to anchor yourself, so you don't feel like you're just kind of floating in a sea of boxes. You know what day of the week it is, and that's really all you need to know. Whereas this kind of totally undated planner allows you to put in the day of the week, but you need to do it all yourself. So I think different types of undated planners are good for different purposes. This I really like because with a daily planner, obviously because you're not using it every day, you don't want to have the days pre-printed as they are in here, because say I might use it on Wednesday and then not use it again until Sunday. So it's ideal being able to circle the day and the date yourself. If you don't feel like it, if you don't have time or you can't be bothered, you can leave these blank as well, but it's kind of nice to have a record of when you used it. So it's nice to have the option to date it yourself, but really with a daily planner you could just use it as a to-do list, not date it at all, and I have done that in the past and it's been fine because you don't really need to go back again and reference what you did on a particular day. That stuff will probably be in your weekly planner. Whereas for this, if you're doing meal planning, it's probably something that you're doing every day while you're doing it. At least that's how I use it, and so it's nice to have a weekly spread. So anything like that where I feel like I don't need to consult it again after it's done, I don't need to know what the dates were that I did, any particular thing that's recorded in here, I don't need to consult future dates, and the dates are irrelevant. I really like that for a daily planner. Something else that I think would be good for an undated planner is something like temporary tracking or planning that you know that you're not going to need to do for a long time. So for example, if you have been sick and you're taking a particular type of medicine and you need to, like maybe take it a few times a day and you want to track it, but you know you're not going to be taking it over the long term, then an undated planner might be useful because you only need it for a little while and you want to have it as an extra because like maybe it doesn't fit into your core planner lineup if there's not enough room. So you can just use an undated planner for as long as you need to. And again, as long as you've got the days of the week, that's really all you need. Something that I've been thinking of using one of these for is I've been feeling extremely stressed because of work, and I was advised to make a note of all the things that make me feel stressed to try to work out how to deal with them. And so that's something that I could use an undated planner for, because it's hopefully something that I'm not going to need to do, for months and years. It just serves a particular purpose. And so having the days of the week is enough. And then when I'm done with that, I can tear out those pages and use this for something completely different, or leave them in and continue to use this for another type of temporary planning. And again, the dates don't really matter for that, because as long as it's that particular week, that's all I need to know. So I think that there are a lot of opportunities and times when an undated planner can be really useful and can actually work better than a dated planner, even though on the whole I much prefer dated planners. And if I had to choose, obviously for my core planning system, I would 100% of the time go with the dated planner, because I wouldn't be able to function without it for my main planner or my main planners. But for something where you don't need to be able to forward plan or reference back, it can actually be better having an undated planner. And another bonus of undated planners is that obviously they're very, very good for planner addicts who tend to have multiple planners on the go at once and might not always stick with them. So, for example, as you've seen, I stick with my main planners. My cousin and my weeks are my core planners, and I use them for the whole year, and I would never switch halfway through the year. But I also have these additional planners that I use for various other non-core purposes. So things that are a bit more specific, things that I might give up, things that I might get bored of one planner and want to switch to another one. And in those cases, it's great to have an undated planner, because you don't feel the guilt of leaving blank pages or have to put the planner in the graveyard. You know that you can come back to it and it will be as if nothing had ever happened. So those are my thoughts on dated versus undated planners, because I know that sometimes in videos I've mentioned something about how this is an undated planner and people have commented, but I thought you didn't like undated planners. So I just wanted to explain the whole dated versus undated situation as it has evolved in my planner journey. So I hope that you found this enjoyable, and maybe that it has some points that you can relate to in your experience of dated versus undated planners. As always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll be back again soon. Bye!